The Secretary will read the next order, the seventh order.
Debate on Vote 2, Provincial Parliament, Western Cape Adjustments Appropriation Bill.
I see the Speaker.
Honourable Deputy Chair, Honourable Premier, Cabinet Ministers, members, guests, thank you for the opportunity to present the Western Cape Provincial Parliament's adjustment estimate for 2017-2018. The Western Cape Provincial Parliament's adjustment budget remains the same as the main appropriation of $178,828,000, which includes the direct charge. No additional funding has been requested by WCPP. However, there are shifts between programs and within programs. Chairperson, members are aware that a cap has been placed on staff funding throughout the entire public sector to ensure that WCPP is supported by an optimal organisational structure to support the service it renders. We have embarked on a functional enhancement process which will conclude in March 2018. The main aim of the exercise is to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of processes and procedures across all functional areas of the entire operation. As a result of the above, fully funded vacancies have not been filled or have been filled later than expected, resulting in an underspending of $6.759 million. An amount of $640,000 has been shifted from compensation of employees in Programme 1 to secretarial and constituency allowances in Programme 2. This additional funding is to cover for the higher than anticipated increase of members' constituency allowances payable to political parties. Besides shifting the $640,000 to Programme 2, an amount of $4 million is shifted to goods and services to cover costs in respect of Microsoft licenses and the implementation of the ERP system, which amounts to R2,348,000. Chairperson, allow me to give an update. Deputy Speaker, allow me to give an update to the members on the ERP. Members of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee have been informed about the contractual challenges that we have been experiencing with the service provider implementing the ERP system. These challenges unfortunately caused a delay in the go-live date for the ERP, which was scheduled for the 1st of October 2017. I am happy to report that these challenges have been successfully resolved and the ERP will continue to be implemented with a revised go-live date of 1st March 2018. The next biggest shift amounts to R1,128,000 to make provision for network hardware as well as audio-visual equipment. An amount of $757,000 has been shifted to provide for the acquisition of closed-circuit television camera equipment as per the SAP's Security Appreciation Report, as well as the refurbishment of the Members' Lounge. In the legislative sector, under the auspices of the Speakers Forum and the Secretaries Association of the Legislature of South Africa, otherwise known as SALSA, the previous forums have been replaced with 4 clusters with sub-components. As a result of this and the proposed introduction of the new legislative sector bill and the rollout of FAMPLA amongst others, there has been an unforeseen increase in the number of meetings which staff are required to attend. As it is important for WCPP to be represented in these forums, an amount of $419,000 has been provided for to supplement the travel budget. An amount of $162,000 is included in the adjustment estimate to provide for the Women's Dialogue convened under the auspices of the branch of the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians. In an effort to develop and grow the depth of procedural knowledge and expertise amongst the procedural support staff, and to ensure processes of continuous improvement in the provision of support to committees and the House, an amount of $130,000 was provided for 3 staff members in the committee section to attend a course at the International Centre for Parliamentary Studies in London. Amongst others, the staff were exposed to best practices on the following: servicing committees effectively, how to set up and conduct a parliamentary inquiry, including the treatment of evidence and reporting on outcomes, working with the media, measuring the impact of parliamentary committees, and relating and interfacing with departments effectively. Upon return, these staff members have provided feedback sessions to their colleagues within their division, and more internal workshops will be rolled out as part of internal training and process improvements. I wish to point out the following of some of the areas within our core business where we are steadily progressing in implementing our plans for the period 2017-2018. Firstly, the Rules Review Subcommittee has advanced in their task of interrogating and improving the structure and content of our rules. It is hoped that this task will be finalized at the beginning of the new year, and that we should be able to approve the revised rules by the end of the financial year. The quality of administrative and procedural support for the business of the House and committees has remained of a high standard, ensuring that meetings and related oversight activities are effectively planned, organized, and executed with very little, if any, disruption in the service. Thirdly, in advancing our public participation mandate and in line with our strategy, we continue to participate in legislative sector activities, including the 20-year celebration of the Constitution project. To this end, we have hosted very successful youth parliament and a women's dialogue. We have supported committee outreach initiatives to involve the public in the legislative process. To name but a few examples of support provided for, we had hearings on the attacks on EMS personnel, hearings on the Western Cape Housing Amendment Bill, and hearings on the Western Cape Road Traffic Administration Amendment Bill. Deputy Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to talk about the water crisis, which may have an impact on the business of Parliament. Members are aware of the current status of the water situation within the province. It's been dealt with extensively the last 2 days, and we take cognizance and appreciation of the planning efforts by the province to ensure business continuity. From Western Cape Provincial Parliament's perspective, we have already commenced on an awareness campaign regarding the saving of water. The Secretary and his team is currently developing our own business continuity water scarcity plan. The Programming Authority is also looking at parliamentary business plans in this regard. In conclusion, Chairperson, I wish to thank the Parliamentary Oversight Committee under the chairmanship of the Honourable Member Wiley for robust oversight and interrogation. I also wish to thank the Secretary, Dr. Lawrence, and the entire team of staff at WCPP for their thankless, their commitment, their loyalty to an institution, and they work and they deliver. They are a lean, mean machine, but they make this institution proud. And then lastly, but not least, Deputy Speaker, I wish to thank you for the guidance afforded me and the support that you have given me over the last reporting period. I thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. The Honourable Eis.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. Honourable Deputy Speaker, I must really thank you for being here, because the only reason I believe you're here today is because of this specific vote. You were in bed, you were very ill. And so it must be some emergency for some people to have you here today. First of all, I would like to say, if we look at the speakers list here, Honourable Deputy Speaker, the speakers list is not as a normal speakers list that we've seen with the other 13 votes. And there's also a specific reason for that, I believe, Deputy Speaker. We normally see the executive authority, then the chairperson of the specific standing committee, in this case the POC, and then of course the ANC. But today you will see, if you look at the order, that DA is right at the bottom. There's a specific reason for that. Honourable Wiley is not addressing the budget itself. He really wants to address what I'm going to say. So there's two of them, and let's give them an opportunity to do that. They're very scared, very scared. 1, 2, 3. Honourable Deputy Speaker, let me continue. Let me continue, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, the total amount to be appropriated was 137.7 million rand, as the Speaker indicated. That was in the main budget. If we look at the adjusted budget, it's exactly the same amount. Today, I would like to refer to the poor planning of the budget and highlight some of the substantial underspending within certain areas and the non-allocation or under budget in certain areas. Deputy Speaker, 7.4 million was underspent in the filling of vacant positions, with a resulting impact on delivery in the institution and more pressure on the existing staff. And I would like to get back to the issue around vacant positions, specifically vacant positions in the office of the Speaker. More additional funds, Honourable Deputy Speaker, of 2.34 million rand was shifted to the implementation of the ERP system. This enterprise resource planning system, with a price tag of over 16 million rand, and that is ever increasing, was set by yourselves, Honourable Speaker, to go live, not as you said here, go live on the 1st of April 2017. But, of course, you missed that date, and then the new go live date was set for the 1st of October 2017. Now, we know what happened on the 1st of October as well. You missed that deadline as well. And then, of course, a new deadline was set for the 1st of January 2018. Today, for the first time, we heard, and we did ask you that question in the Parliamentary Oversight Committee, but you did not commit to any date or timeline. Now, today, we hear the new one year later, is the 1st of March 2018. I'm very concerned about that, and a delay of 1 year in terms of the implementation of the ERP. And Speaker, I think you owe this House an explanation, not the one that you tried to give here this afternoon, but really reflect on the timelines, further costs that's not been budgeted for, because we see in every single budget there's a growing amount there, and specifically in terms of the contractual risks. What was the problem? Were the contract not watertight? Did you really not negotiate this well with the service provider, or was it really the service provider that was at fault here? And if that was the case, what was the penalties introduced in terms of that? So is the service provider actually being penalized on maybe a quarterly or monthly or a daily basis for not implementation? If not, the blame is fully in your hands, of course, and I think that's exactly the case. Deputy Speaker, 1.88 million rand is now shifted to the acquisition of network switch modules, audio-visual equipment, funding for CCTV cameras, and upgrade of the lounge. And the question is, and we see none of those issues in the main budget, why was it not budgeted, and why was it not budgeted properly, and why was it not planned well? So all of the shift that we see is shifting to something that was not previously budgeted for, and I think that's a wrong approach in terms of the budget. Speaker, why did you not properly budget for the functional enhancement program? And you referred here to the functional enhancement program that will kick in March next year. Also very long delay. Other word for the functional enhancement program is your organizational restructuring. There was already a budget of 700,000 rand given to an organizational restructuring process. There's an additional amount of 308,000 rand that's now been added. Maybe you must also tell us who's the consultants that are doing work. It seems like it's very high, even if you use the Department of the Premier with some expertise there, and if they helped you in your organizational restructuring, even referring to Parliament and other legislators in that regard. Deputy Speaker, there was also reference by the Speaker to the Women's Dialogue. The Women's Dialogue was a one-day dialogue here at the legislature. It was on a Saturday. And the question would be, and there's reference to an additional 162,000 rand for that. And really, I think that's well and way over the top, Deputy Speaker, and we will need to get some explanations that we did not get in our Parliamentary Oversight Committee. Speaker, earlier this year, you said you have a draft agreement between yourself and Provincial Treasury, and I think that's very important that you reflect on that, because you said that's going to reflect and relate to the budgetary process really trying to distinguish between the legislative side and, of course, the executive side. And the question to you at this stage would be then, was the draft finalized between yourself and MEC of Finance, and what does this entail, and was the agreement taken into consideration? And I think that's very important before presenting this adjustment to the House here today. Deputy Speaker, I do not see in this adjustment budget, although the Speaker just reflected on it now, that you identified any key risks. For example, the water crisis, and I'm referring to the adjustment budget that we're busy with now. I've seen it in all other departments, or most of the other departments. We've seen it in the budget speech of the MEC, and we even saw this in the reallocation of money of all budgets to stop slice money, but I don't see this in vote 2 happening. This adjusted budget does not allow for any immediate or any short-term interventions in the planning as a response to the water crisis. And maybe you must also just enlighten us around that, what you are doing around that in terms of the water crisis, and as you correctly referred to as well. Honourable Deputy Speaker, on the 15th of October 2017, there was a report in the Sunday Times, and this is in this financial year, reported on and quoted from the Auditor General of South Africa's management report and management responses thereto for the vote Provincial Parliament. This referred to irregular expenditure in the office of the Speaker, the so-called Poloni-Gadsby stuff, as you know. But that is one issue. I want to really get to the department and the transparency and the guidelines that's in place here, and that's important to reflect on, Deputy Speaker. I then wrote to Deputy Speaker, to the Secretary of Provincial Parliament, Dr. Lawrence, regarding a copy of the management report, and I think that's just the right procedure. After discussing this with the Auditor General said no problem, asked the department, asked the Secretary for Parliament for that. On the 22nd of October, Honourable Deputy Speaker, the Secretary informed me, I'm getting to that, on the 22nd of October.
Order.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, on the 22nd of October, the Secretary informed me that he's not going to make the report available to me. No transparency, no openness, and again, a closing down of accountability. I then, on the 31st of October, and that's the next step in terms of, and you also believe in the rule of law, had no other choice but to request it in terms of a Promotion of Access to Information Act. To date, Deputy Speaker, no information received. Again, where's the openness, where's the transparency, and where's the accountability? And the question now is very important. This arises the question, Honourable Speaker, what is hidden, Speaker? It's not only the Poloni-Gadsby that we referred to. That was just part of the sensation in the newspaper. What I'm asking, what is in the report? And why don't you want to make that report that's not a confidential report, that's not a secret report, available? And I believe it's quite a substantial report as well. Honourable Deputy Speaker, I continue to say that, Speaker, and I want to specifically get to the vacant position in the office of the Speaker. Deputy Speaker, on the 27th of October 2017, in the Parliamentary Oversight Committee, I asked you to explain whether a person...
Order.
Whether a person whose name I gave to you was appointed and consequently fired or left very quickly as receptionist and registry clerk in your office, Honourable Speaker.
Order, member, your time has expired. Just finish your last sentence. Your time has expired, ready? But if you, I'll give you the opportunity to...
Last sentence, I will get another opportunity. I want to thank the staff for their commitment and the role that they play. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Order. In the absence of... Order. Order. In the absence of Honourable Joseph and Christians, I again see... Oh, no, I see Mr. Wiley, the Honourable Chief Whip. Honourable Wiley.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I have no intention of replying to the Honourable Ace and his 48 Rand scandal, despite his conspiracy theory. Deputy Speaker, you're quite right. It is much more than that. I would like to turn you to page 19 of the Blue Book, Vote 2. And the aim of the Provincial Parliamentary Administration is to provide quality parliamentary and corporate services to enable members to fulfil their constitutional functions and to facilitate public involvement in parliamentary affairs. I then want to read to you, please, the following. And this is an excerpt of the Code of Conduct for members of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. And this is the oath that we take. We, the members of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament, recognizing that we are accountable to the electorate and have a duty to instill and maintain public trust in democratic institutions, B, affirming that members of the Provincial Parliament have an obligation to perform their duties conscientiously, with honour and dignity, to be true and faithful public representatives, having due regard for the common good. That is under the preamble. I refer you to Chapter 2, 4.3.1. Integrity. A member shall ensure at all times that the dignity, credibility and integrity of the Provincial Parliament is maintained. 4. Accountability. A member is accountable to the public for his or her decisions and actions and shall submit himself or herself, whatever scrutiny is appropriate to his or her office. And so it goes on. On D it says, shall avoid improper use of payment allowances, and so on and so forth. I just want to read one other aspect, and that's general obligations, which
Order.
is 3A.
Order.
Members shall at all times in the
Order.
exercise of his or her duties adhere to the principles set out in paragraph 2 of the Code of Conduct and shall, 1, conduct him or herself with
Order.
dignity
Honourable Makaleni. Order.
and integrity.
Speaker, just 1 second. Allow the member to continue. I'm listening very carefully, and I'm hoping the member brings it back to the Blue Book.
Comes straight from the Blue Book. To conduct himself with dignity and integrity appropriate to his or her office. Now, Deputy Speaker, to come back to the Blue Book, if I may, we have here this about appropriation. We are giving another 640,000 Rand to political parties for their constituency allowances and secretarial services, in other words, for them to be parliamentarians. Now, I've read to you now what their role as parliamentarians are meant to be. Now, I want to measure that up. This vote towards them, on the other side there, I want to measure it up against the following. The question is the rhetoric spoken by the ANC in this House a reflection of what they say outside of it? Because we fund them. I give you a couple of examples of what they've said recently.
Order. Order. Just take your seat, member. Order. I've given the backbench there enough time now to make interjections. Now it's going over to a running commentary. Honourable Makaleni, allow the member to continue. I will decide whether he's out of order or not. Member, please continue.
Speaker, I'm speaking directly to the taxpayers' money that's going to fund members according to a code of conduct to which they swore in front of a bench, in front of a judge there. That's what I'm talking to. Now, twice the chief whip of the ANC has intimated there is no water crisis. Member Davids repeatedly said that again a few minutes ago in this House, there is no water crisis, and that it wasn't a priority. Yet we all know there is a crisis, and it has been repeatedly stressed in this budget by the Minister in justifying the reallocation of funds in the budget. The history of how this government has for years tried to warn and get the buy-in from a national government of the pending crisis with little or no assistance. On the contrary, the representative, Mr. Khan of Water Affairs nationally, said in February, there is no crisis in the province, there is no emergency, in February of this year. Even now, in this budget, in spite of a declared state of provincial disaster months ago, there is no assistance from national government. On the contrary, how is this possible? Member Dianki said, I'm speaking about the members for whom we are paying money to, Deputy Speaker. Member Dianki, on the other hand, had the temerity to accuse this province of only spending less than 100 million Rand on the problem when he knows full well that the water provisioning and storage is a national function. He also knows that this government is the most fiscally prudent and has to endure 2 rounds of austerity which saw significant budget cuts. We are probably the only legislature in the country to have done so. I could give you other examples. The crime-related situation, a national function. And yet the member Dijana, earlier on today, said that we're responsible for the crime and we got blood on our hands. The result of the Auditor General is questioned continuously by the members on the other side of the House. The effects of the avian flu are questioned continuously despite having a devastating effect on the poorest of the poor and the least able to defend themselves.
Order, Member Wale. Before I see the Honourable Bierwinkel, order. Before I see the Honourable Bierwinkel, Mr. Wale, I've listened carefully and I think you've now gone over the edge of the parliamentary vote. I allowed the debate on the water because the Honourable A spoke about it as well. So I'll allow that part. But when you come to avian flu and all the others, that's a generalisation of things which not necessarily relate to this budget vote. Honourable Bierwinkel.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Order.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. You have covered what I basically wanted to say. But when will this Chief Whip learn to lead by example? He's forever jumping up and down for other people. He's totally irrelevant now, nothing to do with what's in the blue
Honourable
book.
Bierwinkel, I've already ruled on that point. Please continue, Honourable Wale.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Has the time not arrived that we hold our own members for whom we pay taxpayers' money to account for their utterances, especially when it puts people's lives at stake? This is not new to the ANC. President Becky's denialism cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives. The ANC rhetoric in this House is now a verifiable threat to public safety. As it feels little for its own citizens or its electorate that puts it there to pay their salaries. Can we continue to fund them without them being held to account? In conclusion, Deputy Speaker, the DA supports this adjustment budget. Seriously, lastly, Speaker, I would like to thank each and every member of the Western Cape Provincial Parliamentary staff, and I'm sure the members will join me in that. They contribute to a well-run institution and one that we should all be proud of. To our colleagues in the House, irrespective, on both sides of the aisle, may I wish you and your families a joyous and peaceful festive season. Till we next meet.
Thank you. Before I see the Speaker, order. Before I see the Speaker, can I just point out that is exactly the problem that one experiences when you allow the first Speaker to go too wide. And I think the Honourable Ace also had some latitude, and that led to him going slightly wider than that. But I see the Speaker now. Speaker to reply.
Deputy Speaker, allow me to thank the members who have participated in this debate and also the members of the Parliamentary Oversight Committee with whom we have engaged previously on the adjustment estimates. As Speaker, I welcome the interest of members in the administration of WCPP and will continue to provide the necessary feedback to members if it is requested in a manner that is appropriate. I must say that I'm proud of the administration who are rendering an exceptional service with limited resources and who are not afraid to go the extra mile when required. I have dealt comprehensively with the matters Honourable Ace has raised in the POC as well as in my introductory speech, so I'm not going to elaborate on all of the rhetoric. There are two matters which I do, though, want to speak to, which I think is important, and then I'll get to the issue of the Gatsby, since it was covered. I will tell you the truth and the whole truth. So, in response to Member Ace's question regarding the increase in the functional enhancement project budget, we initially budgeted 810,000 rand, and that was meant for organisational design, business process design, and resource loading project. This then expanded to include a sustainable remuneration framework and an IT assessment for on-site requirements and future-looking technologies. The formal tender is in due process, governance structures have been established, and the project charter adopted. WCPP has launched its communication plan, and the first contact sessions have taken place. The process will continue until the 15th of December and resume on the 8th of January 2018. Members will be appraised on their return in February 2018. Regarding the matter of the budget for the increase of the ERP, we originally budgeted for the implementation of the ERP in the 2016-2017 financial year, but due to the delay in implementation, the committed funds were not spent. We did not increase the budget in this financial year with a rollover, but rather opted to distribute the funds over the 2018-2019 and 2019-2020 financial year. WCPP used the underspending of the 2017-2018 financial year to cover the costs for the implementation of the ERP system. Deputy Speaker, allow me to just highlight a fact. The Honourable Ace talked to the format of Vote 2. We are no longer governed by the PFMA, which requires a different approach. We are governed by FAMPLA. All legislatures are governed by FAMPLA. It's a completely new set of rules, so it doesn't require us to be compliant. However, we have established a brilliant relationship with Treasury, and we maintain that relationship. So we do indeed have a draft protocol document with the Minister of Finance, and we continue to follow Treasury protocols, even though we are not required by law to follow them. So we are running a dual process in terms of our finances. Then, the issue of the Gatsby. Honourable Deputy Speaker, I would like to, through you, request the Honourable Ace to help me understand his need to question and unpack facts that are known to him. For a seasoned politician, I fail to understand his need to run to the media whenever there is a matter that he can't understand, but it's basically that he can't get his way on. The sheer hypocrisy of the Honourable Ace in his doublespeak never ceases to amaze me. Let's talk to a point raised by the Honourable Gillian on the 16th of November, when she commented on the alleged irregular spending of petty cash money on a Poloni Gatsby, and her comment was, "How honourable is this?" Well, let me talk to the 45 Rand Gatsby that the Honourable Ace and Gillian are trying to make a meal of. He ran to the media and tried to manufacture outrage. Sadly, the Honourable Ace and a certain media house is silent on the real facts that affect our budget. That of a certain member who claimed 47,714 Rand 96 cents in 1 month for travel and entertainment. This same member over 5 months utilized 123,936 Rand and 34 cents for travel and entertainment. Now that, you compare 45 Rand Gatsby to that, no.
Order.
And then I have it on good authority.
Order, Speaker. Just 1 second. Order, I'm listening.
Honourable,
Order.
Honourable Deputy Speaker,
Order, Honourable Gondley, I'm listening to your Chief Whip.
I'm very concerned that the Speaker is using privileged information only to her, that she's got access to, and she's trying to give it to us. I think you must stop with that. Nobody's got access to that information, so nobody can say it's correct or not. I think it's wrong to misuse her office, Chairperson.
Speaker, you must help me whether that information is still privy or whether it's open. If it's open, it's fine.
Honourable Deputy Speaker, the matter is now squarely in the public domain. A case has been registered at Cape Town Central. We have provided this information so it is available to Joe's citizen. And I believe the Honourable Ace is bleating about transparency and accountability, so let's start talking about. We create outrage over 45 Rand for a Gatsby, yet we defend Yet we defend trips to Driefontein that never ever happened. So let's not go there.
Speaker, just 1 second.
Then let's talk
Order,
on...
just 1 second. Honourable Churcham, is there a point of order? Question.
I just want to ask, Deputy Speaker, when was this information ATC?
I cannot give you that answer. Maybe the Speaker can assist.
It was never.
Whether it was ATC, but that's not the point at stake at the moment. Speaker, may I continue?
There is no need for the ATC. The matter, there was a report, it was dealt with. The matter was then handed to SAPS, and it was information that is available. We can do a PIA on it, and you can get the information. So it is not a secret. It is out there. Then let's talk about the irony of the journalist who interviewed me at length in the seat here regarding the members' claims. Yet he dedicated just one line to this blatant abuse of taxpayers'
Speaker,
money.
just 1 second. Is there a question or a point of order?
No, Speaker, can I address you on the same issue? Speaker, member of Parliament, which underwent a process according to the Speaker. Information is at the public. As members here, we don't have that information at our disposal as a member. How can the Speaker, therefore, in this august House, then address the issue? And the point is, it's
Order,
information at her disposal, as the Chief Whip is saying, which we don't have preview.
Order, I hear you, Honourable Holyfield. I've already asked that same question to the Speaker. She assures me that it's in the public domain, so I must accept the Speaker's word for that. Speaker, you may continue.
Deputy Speaker, the irony is that the journalist who interviewed me at length regarding this member's claim dedicated just one line to this blatant abuse of taxpayers' money. And the journalist wrote, meanwhile, ANC MPL Sharon Davids is facing charges for allegedly inflating her travel claim. That is all he said.
Speaker, sorry, there's another point or
Speaker,
question.
Can
Honourable Makaleni.
Speaker, can I raise an order?
Order. Order.
We are in the
Order.
middle.
I can't hear you. Your own members are making noise.
Thanks, Speaker. We're in the middle of adjustment discussions, and we have now derailed completely out of it. Can we at least come back to the order of the day?
Order. I will watch carefully, but as far as I'm concerned, this matter is is related to the adjustment budget, and the Speaker may conclude. Speaker, you may conclude if you...
Nothing about competencies, but...
Deputy Speaker, so that should have been the real storyline, not a 45 Rand Gatsby. Let's talk about the 16 days of activism. Since we are in the 16 days of activism, Honourable Bierwinkel yesterday just spoke about members disrespecting men, disrespecting women. Let me alert the honourable members on the other side that I called the Honourable Ace to my office regarding a certain staff member who passed disparaging and disgusting remarks. That was some time ago. We are now in 16 days of activism and nothing has been done about it. So what can I think? The Honourable Ace is complicit. Does a skanda cease? I will be calling on the multi-party women's caucus.
Speaker, get order.
I'm getting back there, Deputy.
Order. Get to the blue book,
I'm getting back to my blue book and the money we spend on the multi-party women's caucus. I'm going to ask the women's caucus to address the matter of intimidation and abuse, not only of female MPs, but all females in Parliament and the Western Cape. Finally, Mr. Deputy Speaker, on the Gatsby issue, I wish to request that the ANC purchase this book for the holidays. You see this book? It's called The President's Keepers. Read this book at your leisure, but when you read this book, you'll really discover what corruption, looting, and plundering of the public purse really looks like. What 45 Rand Gatsby is nothing compared to what is contained in here. So that's fraud and that's corruption.
Order.
Deputy Speaker, so this is the scale, and this, Deputy Speaker,
Order.
this is the shame of our nation, and this is the ANC. There are numerous examples that I can talk to regarding the sheer hypocrisy of the ANC. However,
Order. Order. Honourable Chacha.
Deputy
Order.
Speaker, you know what? We are supposed to defend. We pretend to be corruption busters, but we allow drunken driving charges to disappear. 3 of them just disappear into nothingness. We allow computers to get lost. They want to hold the Speaker to account, but they can't hold their own members to account.
Order.
So I am saying to the Honourable Ace, I am willing to engage you if you are big enough and man enough to come and have a cup of tea with me rather than run to Jason Felix and go tell him a load of hogwash, because that's what you do.
Order, Speaker.
So coming back to 2018, I trust we can build this relationship. I want to ask you, take me into your confidence like you always say. Take me into your confidence. Call me up and say, Speaker, there's a matter. You know, this is parliamentary issues.
Order.
So we can play the game
Order,
both
Speaker.
ways.
Speak to the chair, please, and get back to the point.
Deputy Speaker, I'm just requesting that the Honourable Ace in the POC, in his capacity as the opposition, not run to the media, but that he rather in a spirit engage me, and we can then clarify matters without him having to speculate whether I ate a Gatsby for breakfast or for lunch. Just for the record, Deputy Speaker, I never purchased a Gatsby, neither did I eat one. But if I do, it won't be a Polony Gatsby, it will be a full house from Wembley, not from across the road. So before,
Order.
in closing, Deputy Speaker, I want to say thank you. I need to say thank you to our members. I need to say thank you to everyone in this House for your contribution. But I do believe that in the spirit of transparency and accountability, sometimes when I sit in that chair, I can't respond, and that is a low blow, because there are platforms to engage other than when I'm in the chair. So today, I have opted to take up my rights as a member in my bench, and I've done exactly that. I want to say thank you to our staff. Dr. Lawrence, to you and your team, you have done sterling work under difficult circumstances. I want every single staff member of this institution to know that we appreciate them. What I don't appreciate is when they get misled by devious politicians who want to play them at the cost of the institution that they represent. We have a fine institution that we can be proud of, and I want to say to everyone, I wish you well. I thank you for your contribution, and Deputy Speaker, thank you very much to you for your guidance once again. I thank you.